Do you ever hear your teenager say, "I hate poetry"? And it's quite clear that they may hate poetry when they're being taught, especially in secondary school, and for the national curriculum, it's just a bunch of old poets from the 19th century or even pre-19th century. So here are the top misconceptions that your teenager may have for poetry. Hi parents and welcome. This is Natalie Chama from Chama Tuition. I hope everyone is well and having a great day today. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel and click on your notification bell so you'll be the first ones to know when I have my next video. I always hear from teenagers when I am teaching or when I'm tutoring, "Oh, I don't like poetry, I hate poetry." Some teenagers like poetry, but obviously poetry is on their GCSE. They will have to be able to analyse a poem and be able to write about a poem in detail. And sometimes when it comes to poetry, they get really stuck because obviously they are looking at specific type of poetry, mostly set in the 19th century or pre-19th century, and they just can't really grasp and relate to it really. But I want to show you it not only within the GCSE, but just getting your teenager to like poetry in general so they start to understand it more. That will help them for the exams. And I'm going to show you the misconceptions of poetry. I will clarify those misconceptions, so make sure you stay tuned to the very end. So number one, poetry needs to rhyme. And a lot of teenagers believe that if it doesn't rhyme, it's not poetry. That is absolutely false, because poetry doesn't need to rhyme. You've got all different types of poetry. Poetry is just a way to express yourself, and you could express yourself in different ways, and it doesn't need to rhyme. Sometimes you have rhyming couplets at the end of a poem, or they have a specific rhyme scheme, but not necessarily. If it doesn't rhyme, it's called a blank verse, meaning it doesn't rhyme, it hasn't got any specific rhyme scheme. So make sure your teenager remembers that. And if they are analysing a poem for GCSE English and it doesn't rhyme, it is blank verse. Number two, poetry is not diverse. That's absolutely false as well. I know with the national curriculum, the poems are not as diverse. It depends which anthology they are doing. You've got Power and Conflict, you've got Love and Relationships. Love and Relationships is very pre-19th century poems that they will be looking at. But there are other anthologies that it might be more diverse. I know John Agard is in one of the anthologies, and also there's Simon Armitage as well that does very diverse poems that is related to more of the modern era today, and it's more contemporary. Now, poetry is very diverse and from different cultures, okay? And you can look at different cultural poems to really grasp, okay, poetry is universal. It's not just Shakespeare that created poetry. And even look at your own culture and look at certain poems from your own culture. That will help your teenager appreciate poetry much more. And number three, this is why I always get, poetry is boring. And the reason why your teenager is saying this poetry is boring is because, as I said, the national curriculum, it usually has specific era of poetry that is not very diverse, most of it. And it's good to kind of go out of that and really experience different types of poetry. Take your teenager out to the theatre, experiencing different spoken word poetry, especially. Spoken word is really powerful. And there's a lot of young people actually performing spoken word all around London. You can get it online on YouTube. There's poetry competitions as well that they can enter into that will help them to appreciate poetry, help them to appreciate that there are younger people like themselves that are also writing poetry as well. So thank you guys, and I hope you liked that video, and just give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel, and I will be doing some more videos based on poetry, and especially just focusing on GCSE English and focusing on how your teenager can analyse poetry effectively. So stay tuned for for those videos coming up. And if you would like more videos like this, just make sure you comment down below. And remember guys, I have got my half-term GCSE group classes coming up. So if you would like to sign up, please click down below. All the links are there and you can sign up for a free registration to those group classes. And thank you guys. Remember, reach your full potential with confidence. Take care guys, and yeah, I will see you next time.